Imagine a single organism so nutrient-dense that scientists have called it one of the most complete foods ever found in nature. It's like nature's own multivitamin, packed into the tiniest of packages. An organism that existed billions of years before the first human ever walked the earth. One that fueled ancient civilizations, caught the attention of NASA's space program, and today sits quietly in the cupboards of millions of health-conscious people around the world. Yet, despite its impressive resume, most people have never even tasted it. Ever wondered why? Today, we're going deep into the story of spirulina, a microscopic blue-green algae that may be one of the most misunderstood superfoods on the planet. We'll explore where it actually comes from, what real science says about it, how to tell a good one from a bad one, and who should think twice before trying it. There's a lot to unpack, and it's not as straightforward as some might have you believe. Because here's the truth. Not everything you've heard about spirulina is accurate. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Let's start at the beginning. Long before agriculture, before written language, before the pyramids were built, spirulina was already thriving in warm, alkaline lakes around the world. This microscopic algae has survived for over 3.5 billion years, adapting through ice ages, shifting climates, and mass extinctions that wiped out countless other species. It's a survivor, a testament to nature's resilience. It did more than just survive. Along the way, it developed one of the richest nutritional profiles of any organism on Earth. Two ancient civilizations, entirely unconnected by geography or trade routes, discovered this independently. In the 16th century, Aztec chroniclers documented a food harvested from Lake Texcoco, dried into cakes, and sold in markets across the Aztec Empire. Centuries later, and thousands of miles away, the Kanembu people near Lake Chad in Central Africa were doing something remarkably similar. Hand-harvesting the same blue-green algae, drying it in the sun, and shaping it into a dietary staple called dihe. Two civilizations, no contact with each other. The same discovery. That alone should make you pause. It's like finding out two chefs on opposite sides of the world simultaneously invented the same dish without ever having spoken. There's something inherently valuable about this food. Fast forward to the 20th century, and spirulina resurfaces in an unexpected place, a NASA research proposal. In the 1980s and 90s, the European Space Agency and NASA both investigated spirulina as a candidate food for long-duration space missions, precisely because of how much nutrition it packs into so little mass and volume. When every gram of cargo matters, you don't choose foods based on trends. You choose them based on data. So what's actually inside this tiny organism that made two ancient civilizations and two space agencies pay attention? Let's talk about the numbers. Unlike most plant-based foods, spirulina contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot produce on its own, which makes it what's called a complete protein. By dry weight, spirulina is approximately 60 to 70% protein. For comparison, that's a higher protein concentration than beef or soybeans by weight. This is one reason it's drawn so much interest from vegetarians, vegans, and athletes looking to increase protein intake without relying on animal products. But protein is really just the opening act. Spirulina naturally contains a range of B vitamins that support how your body converts food into usable energy. It also supplies vitamins A, C, D, and E, nutrients tied to vision, immune function, skin health, and protecting your cells from everyday oxidative damage. Imagine getting a little bit of all those essential nutrients in just a small serving. Then there are the minerals. Iron, which supports oxygen transport through your blood. Magnesium, involved in literally hundreds of biochemical reactions in your body. Calcium, for bone and dental health. Potassium, essential for fluid balance and healthy nerve signaling. Most single foods give you a narrow slice of what your body needs. Spirulina is unusual because it offers a genuinely broad nutritional spectrum from one small natural source. But here's where it gets more interesting, because the deepest science isn't in the vitamins everyone already knows about. It's in two compounds you've probably never heard of. The first is chlorophyll, the pigment that gives spirulina its deep blue-green color. Often called nature's green pigment, chlorophyll has long been studied for its role in supporting the body's natural detoxification processes. The second is rarer and far more interesting, phycocyanin. This vivid blue antioxidant compound is found in almost no other food on the planet. Early research suggests phycocyanin may help protect cells from oxidative stress and support a healthy inflammatory response in the body. It's part of why spirulina has that unmistakable blue-green hue, and part of why researchers keep coming back to study it. Imagine a food that not only nourishes you, but also supports your body's natural defenses against the rigors of daily life. Now, I want to be very direct with you here, because this is important. Spirulina is not a miracle cure, and you should be skeptical of anyone who tells you it is. What the current research actually supports is more modest and, frankly, more believable. Nutrient-dense foods like spirulina may help support immune function, contribute to steady energy levels, and help the body manage everyday physical stress as part of an already balanced diet. Its high protein content can also support satiety, which may help some people manage hunger and portion control. That's a meaningfully different claim than cures disease or melts fat overnight. And if a supplement brand ever tells you otherwise, that's a red flag, not a selling point. It's always wise to be cautious when something sounds too good to be true. And that brings us to a few myths worth clearing up right now, because they show up in almost every spirulina video you'll find online. Myth 1. Spirulina alone will make you lose weight fast. It won't. Nothing does. What the research actually points to is that its protein content may help you feel fuller for longer, which can support a broader weight management effort. But spirulina sitting in your cupboard while your diet stays the same will not move the needle on its own. Myth 2. More is always better. It isn't. Like most concentrated nutrients, spirulina has a sensible serving range, typically a few grams a day. Taking far more than recommended doesn't multiply the benefit. It just increases the chance of digestive discomfort, and in poorly sourced products, increases your exposure to whatever contaminants might be present. Myth 3. All spirulina is basically the same, so just buy whichever one is cheapest. This is perhaps the most important myth to let go of, and we'll come back to exactly why in a moment. Which brings us to something almost nobody talks about when they cover spirulina: how to actually tell a good one from a bad one. Because this part matters more than people realize. Not all spirulina is created equal, and where it's grown matters enormously. Spirulina is what's called a bioaccumulator, meaning it absorbs whatever is present in the water it grows in. Grown in a clean, controlled, contamination-tested environment, that's exactly what makes it so nutrient-rich. But grown in an uncontrolled or contaminated water source, that same absorbing ability can pull in heavy metals or harmful bacteria along with the nutrients. This is precisely why quality sourcing is not optional. It's the single most important decision you'll make if you decide to try spirulina. Look for products that are third-party tested for purity, ideally grown in closed, controlled cultivation systems rather than open, uncontrolled ponds. Reputable brands will publish this information. If a company can't tell you where and how their spirulina was grown, that alone should tell you something. And while we're being fully transparent, spirulina isn't right for everyone. If you have an autoimmune condition, spirulina may stimulate immune activity in ways that aren't advisable for you. If you have phenylketonuria, a rare genetic condition, spirulina is not appropriate. Because of its iodine content, people with certain thyroid conditions should speak to a doctor before adding it to their diet. And if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, or taking any prescription medication, especially blood thinners or immune-modulating drugs, please talk to a healthcare professional before starting any new supplement, spirulina included. This is not medical advice, and this video is for educational purposes only. Supplements are not regulated the same way medications are, and what works well for one person may not be appropriate for another. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making changes to your health routine. Okay, with all of that context, let's talk about how people actually use it day to day, because this is simpler than most people expect. The easiest way to start is 1 teaspoon of spirulina powder blended into your morning smoothie. The natural sweetness of fruit balances spirulina's distinctly earthy, oceanic flavor, which, and let's be honest about this, takes some getting used to. You can also stir it into fresh juice, plain yogurt, or a protein shake. If you prefer something you can hold in your hand, homemade spirulina energy bars are surprisingly easy. Combine rolled oats, almond butter, honey, a teaspoon of spirulina powder, and dark chocolate chips. Press the mixture into a tray, refrigerate until firm, and slice into bars. It's a genuinely tasty way to sneak in extra nutrition. Plus, you get a little bit of fun while you're at it. There's also a savory option worth trying, a spirulina potato salad. Boiled potatoes, diced tomatoes, fresh lime juice, a teaspoon of spirulina, and a pinch of salt. A refreshing, colorful side dish that doesn't taste anything like what you'd expect from a bright blue-green powder. It's a conversation starter at any dinner table. If you're trying it for the first time, start small. A 1/4 teaspoon is plenty to begin with. Let your palate adjust before working up to a full serving. It's a journey, not a race. Now, you may have heard of spirulina's close cousin, chlorella, another single-celled algae that gets mentioned in the same breath. They're often confused, but they're not the same organism, and the difference matters. Chlorella has a tough outer cell wall that has to be mechanically broken down before your body can access what's inside, which is why chlorella supplements are typically processed more intensively. Spirulina has no such cell wall, meaning its nutrients are naturally more accessible without heavy processing. Chlorella tends to be higher in chlorophyll. Spirulina tends to be higher in complete protein, and that rare compound we mentioned earlier, phycocyanin. Neither one replaces the other. They're simply different tools with overlapping but distinct strengths. If you've tried one and assumed you understood the other, it's worth reconsidering. So why are so many more people discovering spirulina right now, after 3.5 billion years of quietly existing in lakes most of us will never see? Modern life makes consistent, high-quality nutrition genuinely difficult. Busy schedules, processed convenience foods, and inconsistent eating patterns all create real gaps in what our bodies actually need day to day. Spirulina isn't a replacement for fruits, vegetables, or a balanced diet. Nothing is. But as a concentrated source of complete protein, vitamins, minerals, and genuinely rare antioxidant compounds, like phycocyanin, it's earned its place as one of the more scientifically interesting functional foods available today. From athletes to office workers, from students to retirees, people from every walk of life are adding this 3.5 billion-year-old organism to their daily routine, not as a miracle, but as one small, well-sourced tool among many. But there's a bigger story here too, one that goes beyond smoothies and supplement shelves entirely. Because spirulina can be cultivated in far less space and far less water than almost any traditional crop, humanitarian and public health organizations have explored it as a tool against malnutrition in vulnerable communities, particularly for children. Small-scale spirulina farms have been set up in parts of Africa and India, specifically to supplement diets where access to consistent protein and micronutrients is limited. It won't solve food insecurity on its own, no single food can, but its efficiency is part of why researchers and aid organizations keep returning to it as one piece of a much larger puzzle. That's the somewhat remarkable arc of this organism. The same nutrient density that made it valuable to Aztec traders, useful to NASA engineers, and appealing to a modern athlete's smoothie is now being explored as a tool to help feed some of the world's most vulnerable children. Not bad for something that spends most of its life quietly floating in warm lake water. Nature spent billions of years perfecting spirulina long before anyone was around to appreciate it. Today, for the first time in that entire span, we finally have the chance to understand it properly, what it can genuinely offer, where it falls short, and how to choose it wisely if you decide it's right for you. Once again, this video is for general educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult a healthcare provider before adding any new supplement to your routine, particularly if you're pregnant, nursing, managing a health condition, or taking medication. If you found this useful, consider subscribing for more evidence-based deep dives into natural health and wellness, and I'll see you in the next one.